farm, family, community. This is Midwest Farm Weekly.
Good morning, I'm Elaine Wells, and thanks for joining us on Midwest Farm Weekly. On our show today, finding the best burger in Wisconsin. It's your chance to nominate a favorite for a chance to go before the judges. Then a major event coming to Titletown, bringing the best of the nation under one roof. Not the NFL draft. We're talking about the United States Championship Cheese Contest and how you can attend. And then from owning land to raising calves, managing employees, and taking time to tell the story of agriculture, women certainly play a vital role in this industry. And there is an upcoming event aimed at networking and personal growth. We'll tell you how to attend that one as well. In your news headlines today, according to the Department of Agriculture, more than 40% of the country's farm workers are undocumented. CBS's Camilo Montoya Gales traveled to a dairy farm in Wisconsin to report on the tension between cheap labor and the Trump administration's immigration crackdown.
Down this road in Wamandi, Wisconsin, population 500, lies John Rosno's farm. He's a fifth-generation farmer who owns more than 900 acres and more than 600 dairy cows.
It takes one person for every 40, 45 cows.
And who is doing all of this work?
I would say about 90% is done by immigrants.
Immigrants like Kevin, who was born in central Mexico and crossed the U.S. border illegally when he was 18. Now 21, Kevin is among the 11 million undocumented migrants living in the U.S. More than 10,000 of them work on Wisconsin dairy farms.
What kind of work do you do here on the farm? ¿Qué trabajo haces aquí en la granja?
Alimentar y también limpiar los corrales.
You feed the cows and you clean the barns too.
Kevin, who did not provide his last name during our interview, says he often works 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, sometimes starting as early as 3 a.m. But the pay is better than back home.
Does your family depend on your salary here in the U.S.?
My mother and my siblings, of course. But since I have my dad here, he also sends them money. Nationally, more than half the workers in the dairy industry are undocumented. Like Kevin, many leave behind loved ones for wages that are below what American workers get.
Some people would be saying that you could be right now hiring American workers to do this job, and that the only reason you're not doing that is because you can pay immigrants less. How would you respond to that?
If I hired Americans to do the work, I would have to pay probably about $100,000 a year per person, and they would only work 40, 50 hours a week. I would be out of business within 6 months. I couldn't afford it. If the price of milk was, or like a gallon of milk cost $10 in the store, then I could probably do that.
The new administration is already following through on its promise to deport the undocumented.
What would happen to your farm and to your business if they are all sent back to their home country?
If that would happen, I'm out of business, and it wouldn't take long.
Rosno fears the future. Kevin does not. 4 years ago, when he was president, he said, "I am going to deport everyone," but it never happened. Sometimes we would watch the news and we would see that a family was deported, and we were scared to go out and buy groceries. But I have not felt fear since then. A fear he hopes he'll never feel again. Camilo Montoya Galvez, CBS News, Wamandi, Wisconsin.
Locally, we are counting down to the 2025 United States Championship Cheese Contest that is happening March 4th through the 6th at Rush Expo in Green Bay. The Wisconsin Cheesemakers Association says they have received just over 2,400 entries from 31 states. There are 117 classes to highlight the best in cheese, butter, cultured products like yogurt, and dry dairy ingredients. The public is invited to watch the judging process on the first 2 days. Gold, silver, and bronze medals will be awarded in each class, and then a champion crowned on the final day of the event. Organizers say accolades like this resonate with consumers when they are shopping. So who has the best burger in Wisconsin? The Beef Council wants to hear from you as part of its second annual Wisconsin's Best Burger Contest. Nominations will be taken starting on Friday, and they are open until March 21st. Based on the number of submissions, restaurants can make the Elite 8 and then will be eligible for a secret taste test by contest judges.
You get one nomination, so you want to nominate your favorite 100% beef burger and from a Wisconsin restaurant. Those are kind of the two main qualifications. Sure. And then After March 21st, we'll take the top 8. So we'll go through the nomination numbers. We don't pick the top 8. That is you. So the restaurants that get the most nominations online, super easy nomination form, takes 30 seconds.
Oh, good.
Your name, your email, the restaurant, the city the restaurant's in, the burger, that is it. Yeah, then we'll take the top 8 with nominations, and then in April, we're gonna send out 3 secret judges to go out and taste all 8 burgers.
Okay.
I tried to be a judge. They won't let me, but yeah, so it's super exciting. And then May 1st, the first day of Beef Month, we'll nominate the winner.
Oh, how exciting. Talk about the restaurant's experience last year.
Okay, so last year, our first year, we had over 5,000 email nominations, which we didn't expect, so we're super excited. So we hope we'll get a lot, more this year. But yeah, our Elite 8 restaurants saw significant increases in burger sales. The winner, Pickles Bar and Grill over in Hazelhurst, North Central Wisconsin, their burger sales increased 570%.
What?
Right after they were announced, they had to hire another employee. So also note, when you nominate your favorite restaurant, your favorite burger, head in there and let them know that about the contest and that you're nominating them so they could do some marketing too. We have some great materials for restaurant owners on the website. So we've got table tents, posters, with a QR code too. So if you're listening and you have an awesome burger on your menu, check out the contest on beeftips.com. All of that is available. You can just download it free or give us a call if you'd like some other help, some assistance. We're here to help. We just want to get great burgers out there in people's mouths.
I volunteered to be a judge. The 2025 Best Burger in Wisconsin will be announced on May 1st to kick off Beef Month. You can find that link to nominate your top spot in the Midwest Farm section of wearegreenbay.com. Students have a few more weeks to apply for more than $20,000 in scholarships from Wisconsin 4-H. These scholarships recognize students who have demonstrated personal growth, leadership, academic achievement, and clear educational goals. To qualify, applicants must have been a Wisconsin 4-H member for at least 3 years. They must maintain a minimum GPA of 2.5 to 4.0, and they must plan to enroll in a university, college, or technical school for the upcoming academic year. All of those details can also be found in the Midwest Farm section of wearegreenbay.com. Certified crop advisors, of course, are partners with farmers on the front lines of critical decisions in agriculture. Matt Bruger is on the Wisconsin CCA board, here to spread the word about an important honor in the industry. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
Well, we'll get to that award in just a moment, but let's start with the basics. The role of a CCA. I guess I've never realized you can be a CCA without being an agronomist. Who do you see applying for this?
Sure. So CCAs can be anyone from, like you said, an agronomist. They can be working in UW Extension, working for co-ops, could even be with departments like DATCAP or DNR. So anybody who's working in agriculture can benefit from being a CCA.
Roughly, what do you see the role of them being in working with farmers?
So on the agronomy side, we do a lot of boots on the ground type things. In government positions, you might be working on helping them navigate the ins and outs of nutrient management from a higher level perspective.
I know continued learning is something that goes into having the CCA attached to your name. Talk a little bit about that process.
Sure. So we're required to get so many CEUs, about 20 per year, and that can range from on your own research and taking tests to going to conferences and other meetings, not only in the state but throughout the country.
Learning how to use new and old gadgets. What have you brought today?
That's right. So first year we got a penetrometer. So this is used to measure compaction in the soil. And that'll tell us if we need to do some sort of tillage or something to break up that compaction, use cover crops. Next, we've got a traditional soil probe. This is what we use for standard soil sampling. And this bigger probe can be adjusted to go deeper, so you can take 2 to 3 foot different soil tests with that one. So these are some of the tools we use. There's also things like a lot of apps that we use, different hand lenses and that kind of stuff to inspect plant for disease and insect damage. So.
And talk about the benefits, because I mean, farmers are operating on tight margins, I think, across the board. Working with somebody who has that additional knowledge can make a huge difference. Yep,
nutrient management, we're always trying to track what do we need to be doing, where can we move things around, use other sources to provide that nutrient for the crop or maybe ratchet things back in years where margins are a little tight, do what we need to do, but maybe not build like we would otherwise.
Let's talk about the CCA of the Year program, a prestigious list, a new name added this year.
Yep, since 2008 we've been doing CCA of the Year, and this year's is Kevin Miller. He's with Country Visions, so usually we nominate someone who is considered to be an exceptional CCA. They do a great job working with the clients, other agronomists, and Kevin exemplifies that this year. He has been working for 24 years out of the Fond du Lac area and really big in innovation and mentoring the next generation of consultants.
Where do we watch for that nomination process to open up again for the next year?
So it's actually open right now. It'll end sometime in August, early September, and if you know a CCA that you've worked with or know that is a big pillar of the community, does a great job, feel free to nominate them, and we're looking for anybody who's doing a great job.
And Matt, does that happen on the CCA website, the Wisconsin CCA?
Yep, so we're actually working on the Wisconsin CCA website now. If you contact DATCAP or any agronomy group, they should be able to point you in the right direction.
All right, well, thank you for being here and the work that you do. Maybe I'll go do a little nominating of my own. We appreciate the time, Matt.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Storm Team 5 meteorologist Alexis Staniak. As of Thursday, about the northern half of the country is seeing quite a bit of snowfall still left on the ground, and even a good amount of snowfall stretching from Oklahoma all the way through North Carolina. We do still have quite a bit of snowpack on the ground as our temperatures have been so cold this past week. So far for this season, we have accumulated well over 2 feet of snowfall here in northeast Wisconsin, about a foot of snowfall over into central South Dakota, whereas we're closer to 2 feet of snowfall accumulated for the entire season over into North Dakota. These numbers across the Midwest are continuing to stay just slightly below average for some spots. Other spots, like in Green Bay, after we saw quite a bit of snow come through this past weekend, we are now into the positive, so we're about a half of an inch above where we should be for precipitation for this time of the month in northeast Wisconsin, whereas places just south of us are seeing numbers just slightly below average. For the entire year so far, for liquid precipitation, so rainfall, melted snow, we've accumulated just under about 1.5 inches here in Green Bay, about 2.5 inches accumulated in Marquette, Michigan, about a half of an inch over in the Twin Cities, same for the Dakotas, and then closer to about 2 to 4 inches areas just south of Green Bay through the southern half of the Midwest. For the next week to 2 week stretch, we will have the equal chance to go above or below for precipitation for majority of the northern half of the Midwest and for most of the northern Great Plains. Areas further west will likely be above for precipitation, but NOAA has released its winter outlook for the final month of winter and into spring. Most of the Midwest is going to be above normal, whereas areas to the south and west will likely see below normal numbers. We're going to continue this cooler pattern, though, as we end the month of February and head into March. Even though we do have a couple warmer days this upcoming weekend, we will see cooler temperatures return just following that. Stay with us. More Ag News coming up after the break.
Well, Jeremy Hansen here from Fox Valley Technical College for Life on the Farm. And today I'm at the Outagamie County Forage Council annual meeting, and joining me is Scott Newell. Scott, thank you so much for your time today. And you were talking about alfalfa today, right?
Yeah, so I'm Scott Newell. I'm the Alfalfa Outreach Specialist at UW-Madison Division of Extension. And yeah, today I was invited up here by these folks to talk a little bit about alfalfa.
Right, and it's February. We should always be thinking about alfalfa, right?
Yeah, we should all be thinking about it all the time,
yes,
in my
right,
opinion.
Right, of course. And you know, you had a very interesting presentation, and you started out by talking about yield, persistency, and
quality.
Quality,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so the thing that I was touching on there, and I actually presented to this group in August last year on that topic as well, is this relationship between these different factors that we have to manage for in alfalfa. So we've got yield is a big one, obviously. Quality is a huge one for us here. One that maybe gets overlooked a little bit more often is persistence. And one of the things I want to bring up for folks is the integration between persistence and yield potential. So if we have a stand that's dying, not being very persistent, it's not going to have as much yield potential. And if we're only ever managing for quality, we're maybe losing out on persistence.
And you have some tools that you presented as well to help assess that persistence, correct?
Yeah, so at a previous meeting, I presented on some research that's been done using growing degree days for management of alfalfa. And in the interim time, we've developed at UW a new tool to help people actually utilize that research on their farm. So it's the UW alfalfa cutting tool. Shows up pretty easily with a Google search, lets people choose their location and then get personalized growing degree day information for their farm to help them manage their alfalfa stands a little bit better and with a little bit more knowledge.
Right. And Scott, you know, the big topic is winter kill, you know, and my question is, are we going to have winter kill this year?
Yeah, so obviously February time period, we're not quite through the winter yet, but we've hopefully hit some of the worst parts of it so far. The thing that I like to kind of bring up is some of the factors that affect winter kill. So obviously we've got these cold temperatures, but lack of snow. But also there's some potential factors that are working in our favor this winter. So we had a really, really long fall. In Madison, where I'm based out of, our first killing frost was almost 30 days later than normal. So what that means is we ended up having a lot more regrowth, a lot more time for root reserves to build in our alfalfa stands, a lot more time for acclimatization through dormancy, accumulating some cryoprotective compounds in the roots that will help us get through some of these adverse winter conditions. So whereas in a pretty normal winter or in a more normal year, I would be maybe more concerned about winter kill, because we had such a long fall and it wasn't super wet either, I'm not as concerned this year. Even though we had those colder temperatures.
And it is February, so we got a lot of winter to go.
We got a little bit more
yet,
time to go.
So.
But you know, it did warm up in February last year and March. So who knows what this year will bring for us.
And final question, Scott, you know, our corn and soybean researchers and growers are telling us to plant earlier and earlier each year, if conditions are right. Is this the same for alfalfa?
Yeah, so I've heard them saying that as well. And I think in their crops, if that makes sense based on the research they're seeing, then that's great. Really, the short answer is no. In the meeting here, I presented a little bit more data on some of that, showing the susceptibility of those alfalfa seedlings to cold temperatures, as well as the change in germination, and especially germination consistency at different soil temperatures. I just wouldn't take the risk on planting those earlier. If you want to plant your corn and soybeans earlier, that just gives you more time to prep your land for planting your alfalfa.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, Scott, wealth of knowledge. Thank you so much for your time talking with me today.
Thank you.
So for Life on the Farm, I'm Jeremy Hansen.
Welcome back. Women in agriculture are invited to a vital event for personal growth. We welcome from University of Wisconsin-Madison Division of Extension, Regional Dairy Educator Erica Bierstrom. Nice to see you.
Good morning.
What does VITAL stand for in this case?
Valuably informed, thriving agriculture leader. And on the farm, that's the woman. So we want to include and invite them to that meeting.
How did this event get started?
This is a meeting that has been going on in different capacities for many years. It used to have a different name, but we kind of rebranded it a little bit. And this one is specifically for dairy women and those who service dairy farms.
Let's talk about some of your speakers, because it's a full day of things going on.
Yeah, so one of our first speakers, or one of our keynote speakers for the day, is Dr. Don Sockett from the veterinary school. He's going to talk about colostrum, and we felt that that's pretty important because a lot of the ladies on the farm take care of the calves, and we might be overfeeding calves colostrum, and so that's what he's going to address that day.
You are also speaking?
I'm speaking on another big thing that we're seeing a lot more of these days is putting babies on trailers, and off they go, and they're going off to another farm, whether it be if they're going to the sale barn or if they're going to another raiser. We put baby calves on the trailer, and it's really important to make sure they are in good shape, and I'll be talking about that.
I'm on your panel discussion.
You are.
Talk a bit about the group you have assembled for that.
We have a really fun group. We have people that have been doing social media for a long time, newer people that have kind of come up recently and really kind of taken it in their own way. So we have Daphne Holterman from Rosie Lane Holsteins, Sue Detman from Detman Farms, Adam Bauman, who's the digital farmer, and he is actually a crop farmer. So we have two men on our speaking throughout the day that are speaking, but the rest of it is women, and we certainly invite women or men to come as well. But so then, of course, you. So we're trying to. Adam's very much into making videos that are entertaining. Sue and Daphne were more of like kind of a quiet social media presence, and then of course with you with the literally the media presence in it, so that's why you're there as well.
It's funny, when you asked for some photos, I started thinking a bit about social media, and certainly we post the segments that we do on the show and they do well, but you know what works the best? A picture of me covered in dirt or hay or alfalfa. It's that true story, and I think you guys are probably encouraging people to tap into that.
Yeah, so certainly tapping into that story that they've already been sharing, but look into what they maybe aren't sharing yet, or where they can go in the future and how they can share their story, because it's so important to reach the consumer that way.
How do we sign up? Where is this happening?
The meeting will be held on March 7th at the Farm Wisconsin Discovery Center in Manitowoc, and they can sign up by going to go.wisc.edu/Vital 2025.
Well, the event kicks off about 9:30 in the morning, wraps up around 3. There's lunch in the middle that you're going to get to enjoy with all of us. I'm looking forward to spending the whole day there, so please join us. Register right now, use the QR code, or just head to the Midwest Farm section of wearegreenbay.com. Erica, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
We'll see you at the event and hope to see you there as well.